Here's a question that refuses to die. Did Eminem really out-rap Jay-Z on Renegade? Or did we all miss what Hov was actually doing while we counted syllables? I'm not settling it in the first minute. The story gets better when you slow it down, trace where the record came from, and then listen with fresh ears. By the end, you'll know exactly what you value and why this debate keeps coming back every time the beat drops. Renegade wasn't born on a Jay-Z album. It started in Detroit as a Bad Meets Evil cut. Eminem and Royce a 5'9" trading verbal haymakers on M's production. When Jay needed a record for the blueprint, Eminem cleared it with Royce and slid the track over. Jay replaced Royce's verses, M kept the boards, and the song instantly felt like a crossover scrimmage on M's home floor. That matters. When the producer is also the featured rapper, the pockets, the breath marks, the swing of the drum all bend toward his voice. It's the difference between renting an apartment and living in a house you built. M wasn't just a guest, he was the architect. But that was only the beginning. This is where most arguments get lazy. People say M just rapped better, or Jay stayed on theme like it's a binary. Listen closely. Jay is laser-focused on being misread by critics. The charge that he glorifies materialism while ignoring the full context of his climb. He's cool, controlled, and surgical, firing at the media without wasting a bar. Eminem's mission is different. He's taking on the public enemy #1 narrative, blamed for everything wrong with culture while he's just holding up a mirror. His delivery is a roller coaster of internal rhymes, fast switch-ups, and breathless momentum. Same beat, different villains. And that's the genius. What came next had fans questioning everything. The Blueprint dropped on September 11th, 2001, and still debuted at #1 in the US, moving roughly 400,000 plus in the first week. The album was already a moment. In the middle of that, Renegade turned into a scoreboard. The narrative hardened. M the technician versus Jay the strategist. When a project becomes that massive, every feature gets turned into a prize fight. And because M produced it, the technical scorecards leaned his direction before the bell even rang. But that wasn't the whole story. Then Nas delivered the spark that wouldn't go out. Eminem murdered you on your own. You know the rest. One bar in a legendary diss song became a permanent tattoo on the debate. People stopped asking what Jay was arguing and started asking how many rhymes M stacked in a single breath. The internet loves a clean winner, but hip-hop is messy by design. A single punchline isn't a courtroom verdict. And here's where things took a wild turn. If you strip the verses for parts, M's got the obvious weaponry. The internal schemes are layered like a maze. The consonants snap into rhythm like percussion. It's acrobatic and loud on purpose. You hear it once and think, how did he fit that many rhymes into that little space? Jay is playing a different sport. He's writing for the second listen. He takes fewer syllables and hits bigger pressure points. How narratives form around an artist, how people cherry-pick lines, how a kid from the projects gets painted as the villain when he talks about winning. One verse is fireworks you feel in your chest. The other is smoke that hangs around when the sky goes quiet. And what happened next would shift the way people rated wins. In the early 2000s, the loudest metric online was speed and density. If you were stacking internal rhymes like a Jenga tower, you won by default. Over time, some listeners started calling out how Jay's verses age. They don't rely on tongue twisters, they rely on ideas. 10 years later, the lyrics still scan. 20 years later, the point still stings. Meanwhile, M's verse stays a masterclass in breath control and cadence. It never stops being impressive. So the debate splits. Technicians go M, theme heads go J. Bar for bar, who wins this for you and why? There's also the house rules factor. M produced the record. He knows where the kick breathes, where a pause feels like a snare, how to land a rhyme on the pocket he built. That's not an advantage you can measure with a ruler, but you can hear it. On the flip side, Jay's job wasn't to cosplay M. His job was to be himself inside someone else's architecture. And he kept the thesis intact. He defended his name, his intentions, and his legacy without breaking the room he walked into. Was Nas right? Or did that line bias everyone for 20 years? The Blueprint's success poured lighter fluid on the conversation, and the Nas bar fanned the flames. Over time, the debate detached from the song and became a meme you could paste anywhere. Anytime a feature goes nuclear, someone says, he got renegaded. But memes flatten nuance. If you treat Renegade like a bar counting contest, M is almost impossible to beat. If you treat it like a record that needed two angles, one chaotic, one composed, to tell a bigger story about fame, scrutiny, and survival, then Jay did exactly what the record asked for. What matters more, syllables per second, or saying the most with the least? Here's the truth most people quietly accept. Both verses do their job at a championship level. M supplies the shock and awe performance you replay to feel the rush. Jay supplies the slow burn clarity that lives in your head after the song ends. The collab works because they didn't chase the same trophy. They brought different tools to the same job and left fingerprints all over the glass. If this drops in 2025, same result, or does the crowd score it differently? If winning means technique, internal rhymes, breath control, relentless cadence, you probably hand the ribbon to Eminem. If winning means thematic cohesion, saying the most with clean strokes while the world spins, you probably nod to Jay-Z. The real winner is the record because it created a conversation that survived every album cycle since. It's the rare collab where nobody had to lose for the track to become legendary. Drop your verdict below. Do you score it like a boxing match or like a closing argument? Was Nas calling a fact or just flipping a great soundbite? We've all heard the hot take. Now let's hear the reasoning. Who took Renegade for you and what's your scoring system? Are you judging acrobatics or impact? Are you counting syllables or circling the lines that actually changed your mind? Tell me how you're grading it. And if you want me to break down another classic feature battle the same way, name the track. Do you think they went too far, or was it all part of a bigger plan?